another episode of The Flow. As you can see, I have swapped the one and only Doc Rock with another Katie. Katie Brinkley is joining the show today.
Katie Power. Whoop, whoop.
Katie Power. So you get not one, but two Katies today. And I hope that you bring all of your incredible questions. If you're joining us in our live studio audience, feel free to throw those questions in. And if you're listening or watching later, you can always swing over to flow.ecam.com and you can leave us questions and voicemails there. We know a couple of incredible Katies like this one, so we can always get those questions answered for you. So feel free to swing those over. Well, welcome to the show, Katie. I'm so excited that you're here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, this is something that we've talked about doing for a while, so I'm really excited to be here. And you've been on my show a few times now, so excited to join you on yours.
Exactly. It's a pod swap. Yeah. We did an episode on pod swaps, maybe episode 3 or 4 about the value of doing it. So here we are proving out that the value is awesome. So always worthwhile to have any of your incredible friends or contacts on your show. And likewise, it really does go a long way actually in building your audience and helping to kind of grow those numbers, which is a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. If you don't know Katie Brinkley, she is the CEO of Next Step Socials and Podcasting and the host of the top-ranked Rocky Mountain Marketing podcast. She's also a seasoned speaker at industry-leading events like Podcast Movement Evolutions and Social Media Marketing World. I've seen Katie at a bunch of events this year, actually. We got to hang out, Katie, in real time.
I know, which is the best.
Back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah, which is the absolute best. So she knows everything that there is to know about the world of podcasting, as well as how to use platforms like social media to be able to grow your podcast and turn it into a business tool, which is what we're going to talk about today. What else did I miss, Katie? Anything else in your bio? You've been working on all kinds of incredible projects lately.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of, I was just going to say that I spell my name the right way, but yeah, we can talk work stuff too. And yeah, but life is good. I've been doing a lot of really fun things for some clients, and AI is changing everything, which is cool and exciting. And so just trying to find new ways to incorporate AI into the workflow. And yeah, life is going really good. It's always better because I've already seen you twice this year. So I mean, can't get much better than that.
Can't get much better than that. I love it. Well, I want to rewind a little bit because I actually don't think I know a ton about your past and kind of your journey into podcasting. Is it true that you started in radio?
I did. Yeah, I used to be a radio journalist. So I was the post-game reporter for the Broncos and the Rockies and the Nuggets here in Denver. And I wanted to be a sports reporter. I was so fortunate. I landed that job right out of college. And then now I'm going to take everyone down a trip on memory lane and say how old I am.
We're going back. We're going way back.
Yeah, there was this thing that came out called Sirius and XM. It was before it was Sirius XM, when they were two rivals.
Sirius and XM. I love it.
I know now. Yeah. Now you know how old I am. But everyone in the radio industry panicked. And a lot of people at the station moved into television. Some people moved into sales. I took the opportunity and moved into marketing, and I worked at the Rockies TV station, which is now no more, but I worked there for a number of years and did the marketing. And that was where it was great because I got to learn a lot about doing the marketing, like media buys, the back end side of marketing, and social media was one of my many jobs there. So I was able to do radio, TV, script writing, social media. It was a great job. And then I tell my daughter this. I've got 2 daughters. They're 8 and 11. And my 11-year-old, she's starting to see that sometimes things don't go the way that you think that they will. And this is a real long answer here, but she didn't make the soccer team that the rest of her teammates did. And she was real sad. And I was like, sometimes it seems like things don't make sense. Things are not happening the way that you feel they should. And, you've tried your hardest, but things aren't just going the way that you feel that they should. And while it really sucks right now, it's just setting you up for better things in life. And she now is on a better soccer team. We switched clubs. She's in a higher division. She's one of the starters. She gets a ton of playing time. Her coach is phenomenal. And, I was like, remember how like bummed out you were just a few months ago? And look at you now. Like back then you were like, God, this is terrible. I'm so sad about it. But it was just setting you up for this bigger opportunity. And I do feel like my past job work, history set me up for what I do today because I get to help people launch podcasts, grow their
Yeah.
shows. I have two shows. That was my radio background. I know all about what to listen for, how to talk on a microphone, how the camera setup should be, all of
Mhm.
that. And I get to do the marketing side of things, everything that I learned at the TV station with media buy, social media, script writing, all of that is set me up for being a successful entrepreneur. So it sometimes things don't go the way you think that they should, but it's just setting you up for a better opportunity.
I love that. We must have it must be a Katie thing because my son had literally the exact same situation with his soccer team. So it was a really hilarious small world sometimes. And I said almost the exact same thing to him. I was like, you know what? This happened for a reason, and I'm sure that it'll work itself out, and it really has. So
Yeah.
it's great. It's great feedback, and I love that you're actually probably one of the few people that I've spoken with, and that we've had on the show that actually you were really on the cutting edge of kind of, you were there in the traditional media space and then in the marketing space and then transitioned into the podcasting space, but also on the marketing side, you've really kind of had both sides of the coin, which I think is kind of unique. I feel like a lot of podcasters, especially today, are coming at it in kind of this new world where podcasting is a new and different medium. They don't have a broadcast background. They don't really understand a lot of the fundamentals that exist within broadcasting that are really applicable in podcasting as well. Do you pull a lot of that into, do you find that you're using a lot of kind of those foundational skills in what you're doing today and giving that advice on to clients as well as they're starting out their shows?
Yeah, I think that I do have a unique perspective because when I first started with radio, social media was really not a thing. This was back with
Yeah.
MySpace. And when
Yep.
I was working in radio, I was actually using MySpace to try and find new music and new bands and
Mhm.
interview them. So, I mean, I've always kind of come at it like social media from a different angle and
Mhm.
not I guess, the influencer angle. And
Yeah.
it's a different way of seeing how you can have a show, how you can have a social media presence, how you can build a marketing presence and a brand presence online. I I definitely think that, you don't need to have a ton of money to get started with your show and to have a
Mhm.
successful show. I think you can do all that organically very well, but you just need to strategize things. And I think that that's one of the biggest pieces that so many
Mhm.
podcasters, business owners, it's like, oh, well, I need to do this, so I just need to check that box. And it's kind of, there's no strategy behind it. The why.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. We talk even a lot on this show about okay, no, but we need to get kind of beyond our fears and beyond that perfection and just start. But I think you're really right that sometimes we forget that it just start, but you need a strategy. You need a plan, especially if you want to do it professionally. And if the goal of your podcast isn't just to have fun or to, play at the technology and kind of have it as a side project. If the goal of it is to make money
Mhm.
and is to, be either itself a business or be in support of a business, then yeah, you definitely are going to need to be thinking through, what is your short-term and long-term strategy. If people are brand new to this space, what do you suggest is the best starting point for thinking through how to start thinking about that strategy, especially if they don't have a marketing background? So all of it feels a little bit big and and a lot new to them.
Yeah, and I think that there's so many different reasons to have shows, right? If you want to have I think that having I think every business should have a podcast. I
Hmm.
really do. It helps you get clear in what your why is. And in a world of AI where, man, Sora 2 at the, when we're going live here, it just came out really,
Yeah.
a week ago, and it's insane. Uh,
It's crazy.
it's,
Yeah.
but this is where you and your why as a business owner, that's going to stand out more than anything. And having Rocky Mountain Marketing is the name of my show. I have over 400 episodes, and I got really clear in what my differentiator was because I was talking about it all the time. I was learning from people I was interviewing, and I was like, man, I don't know if I agree with that. But it helped me get really clear with my why for my business. And when you start having these conversations all the time, you get clear in your why, you get comfortable speaking about it when you're at these different events or at networking events, whatever. And you can really easily see like, this is what my attractor is. And with AI, with social media, with all of that, people want to connect with people so badly. And so if you can stand out with your show, I think that's one of the best starting places for business owners is just having that show so you can talk about it all the time. And it will help you get clear with the why of your business. As far as the why of your show, again, I think that a lot of people go in and like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to launch a show. Well, who's the show for? Are you trying to get leads? Are you trying to build community? Are you just trying to get more comfortable on the mic? Is it thought leadership so that you can go out on stages and speak? What is your why?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's amazing to me how many people I speak with, even just in my role at Ecamm, where they're like, I'm all in. I got Ecamm. I built the studio. Like, I have all the things, and now I'm, I don't know like how to get started. And so, my first question is always like, well, what are you creating? Like, what is the goal and the vision behind it? What is your why? What's your mission? Mm-hmm. And a lot of them don't quite know. Like, they haven't spent the time. And I think a lot of it is because these days, all of those other pieces are really shiny and they seem like a really obvious choice. Like, it's like, well, I know I need a podcast or live show or, some kind of way to create video content or audio content. I know that those things are important. So I've checked those boxes. I know to do that, I need a physical space. I'm going to need a camera. I'm going to need lights. I'm going to need like all these things. And so they've got those recommendations and they've checked all of those boxes. It is really difficult to fully understand like why and what the mission is and who you're trying to reach. So I do think too, it's important to know that like you can make some of those changes. Like, Katie is here with 400 episodes, down. I'm sure that when you first started, I'm sure that you had probably a little bit of a different vision of who you thought your audience was and what you thought it was, but it evolved over time, right? Like, you at least knew enough to be able to get started successfully and then were able to make those pivots and those changes.
Exactly. And I mean, like, I think that a lot of people get into this is how it's your show. I mean, you can pivot it however you want. My show started as a lead gen because it was during COVID and all the networking events had been shut down. So I was interviewing other business owners and asking them what marketing strategies were working right now. Honestly, if you want to go hear some real bad podcasting, go back and listen to episodes, the first season of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I come from radio. So, I mean, trust me, it takes a little while to get your feet wet. If that's kind of keeping you stuck in the sand of like, oh, I don't know if I'll sound very good. Like, just get started on that. But then it shifted into networking. So now the people that I have on my show are people that I want to have a longer conversation with. Like I said, you've been on the show a couple times now, Katie, but they're people that I like, man, like Jeff C. Like, gosh, he is so smart. And every single time I talk to him, he's got some new thing that he's like really smart about. And so I want to learn from him. So I talk with him on my show. So I think discover what it is that you want to have from your show. For me, Rocky Mountain Marketing is ways that I can have, longer conversations with people in the industry that I respect. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you brought up Jeff C, because I think he just did an episode, maybe it was the last one or the one before, where he was talking about conferences and events. We're just coming off of our Creator Camp event, and we, many of us go to many events throughout the year. A podcast as a networking and conversation strategy is really great for if you're constantly attending events or you're a speaker and you're out on that speaking panel. I do think it helps you to like double down on those relationships, and the content that comes out of those conversations can be hugely valuable to your business. Jeff is a great example of that. He books almost all of his guests through the events that he goes out to, through, colleagues that he meets, through other speakers, like being out in person, being human in those spaces. And then those conversations, then, he's recording and capturing them and is able to repurpose them and use them in all different kinds of ways, thanks to largely, to the change in technology and the, the now all the different AI tools that are out there to make that process easier, circling back to what you said earlier, like we are still holding the humanity and the community and the conversations still exists in us and in the vision and the mission of our shows, but all the other stuff around it is all made so much easier by all of these different tools. So it's a really cool time to be jumping in and trying this.
It is. And I think that, even with what we've seen with Sora 2 that's come out and how incredible the video is on that.
It's wild. If you haven't seen it, you really should.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. But even that, it shows me that video is even on the cusp of like being replicated very easily. Podcasting, yeah, sure, you can clone your voice and do all that stuff, but you can't replicate a conversation like what you and I are having right now, Katie. I mean, the fact that I've stumbled over my words and I've gone way too long with some of the storytelling and gone off track, that's a human element that I think is podcasting is going to stick around a lot longer because of that, and having these live shows, because AI just can't replicate this yet. I mean, who knows a year from now? It's going fast, but
I know,
if you're holding back on, launching a show or having a podcast or having a live show, like now is the prime time to do it, because people are craving this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you've answered this a little bit, but I'm going to ask this one anyway. So you talk a lot in both social media and in podcasting about how it's, more about conversations and not content. Like we should be focusing on these conversations. Can you dive into like what that means in practice in your show? So like, how does that look like when you're scheduling and planning your content, your show itself, and then how you're getting that out there across the different platforms and how you're marketing your content?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, and like we said earlier, AI makes things real easy to repurpose things and just get more and more and more, like short clips, all this stuff. But again, like think about this. What helps you stop your scroll when you're on social media? And most often it's, and I hate saying this, but it's not going to be a recycled podcast clip. I mean, that people might be like, hey, it's the two Katies. I love them. And they might stop. But really, we're very selfish creatures. And what's in it for me? Why should I care? And so having a show and knowing this is why I want my audience to care, what I want my community to care about, it's going to make creating the content a whole lot easier. So, for example, you want your audience here to care about why they should have a podcast and what the why behind it. Maybe that's the big goal from today's episode, is discovering your why. I don't know. We still have time left. Who knows what but we'll just say the why. And if you can get into that with your social content, with your email content, with your lead magnets, and say, okay, I'm going to create a lead magnet all about having Katie Brinkley on the show, where we talk about the why of the show and the why of your business. That's going to get the right people raising their hand and saying, hey, hold on, I want to hear more. I want to listen to this episode. I want to download Katie Ecamm's, free lead magnet, whatever, because you're talking to exactly what it is that you can help people with. So I think that when you know who your content is for and why they should care, and then create the content, you don't need to post a ton. You just have to create better content that gets the right people raising their hand, the right people tuning in, the right people downloading your lead magnet, the right people signing up to book a call with you.
That's actually really great to hear, because I feel like, and I will include myself in this group of people, but I feel like many people out there, including me, feel sometimes like we're doing a lot, right? So like in many cases, the podcast is in addition to whether it's, a full-time job, or it's part of the job and the other services or goods that you're selling, or maybe it's like, a side hustle. And then you also have, relationships and kids and, hobbies and other things that you're trying to balance and juggle. So it does feel as though marketing and digital marketing in today's world feels like it's constantly demanding more and more and more. And sometimes it feels like if you're not posting with some, crazy amount of frequency, that people won't see it or that you're going to miss the mark.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people who just, there's all these tools and ways to get all this content out there, but I think you're absolutely right that it needs to be the right content for the right person. How do you approach thinking through that in kind of a larger sustainable system?
Yeah. And I think that, I love Austin Armstrong. He's a great guy. If nobody knows who he is, he creates a lot of content. And for him, that works.
Works, yeah.
But for me, I have a business to run. I have 2 shows. Like this afternoon, I'm recording, we got to go to the studio and set up a client podcast record. I mean, so I got a lot going on. I can't be spending all day creating a ton of content. How can I create content that converts? And so knowing what it is, that you want people to do. Okay, I need more clients. Let's just say that's the big goal for Q3. I need more clients. Well, how am I going to get more clients, and how can I use the podcast to convert the right people into clients? And this is, again, coming back into that strategy mindset of what's the ask right now. Maybe you have eCam camp or creator camp that you want to have people, sign up for, and you're doing a big push for it. Well, what from the show can you use to get people to sign up for that? What is the big takeaway that people will get from listening to this episode, or something that I said that is going to get someone to convert into whatever it is that you want? And so when you go in with that mindset, again, you don't need to create a ton of content. You can create, so I have the 4-post strategy, and it's all designed to where you have, okay, the end goal is X. How am I going to get people there? And it's through 4 different types of posts, because everyone resonates with a different type of post. And the algorithm wants you to post a variety of posts. If you're posting the same type of content all the time, one, you're missing people that the algorithm, for me, I don't watch any reels on Instagram. I don't. Facebook's algorithm for reels, it knows me. Like, I get tons of talking dog videos. It knows me, and I'm on there forever. But I mean, on Instagram, I'm like, none of these reels really make sense. I'd rather just go to my friend's feed and see what my friends are up to. So, I mean, this is where, again, you have to create a variety of content depending on the platform, depending on what the outcome is. And when you have the 4-post strategy, it really makes it easy to create content that is going to convert.
Do you want to talk through that strategy a little bit? I think many of us know it, but just in case people don't yet, I think it's really valuable. And I have used it many a time, and it really is magical. Like, it really does work every single time. And I see it coming up in your feeds and other people's feeds, and I'm like, I feel the need to reply back. So the magic is in this strategy. So everyone get a pencil. Let's write this down. All right, go ahead, Katie.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's really dependent on how many platforms you want to be on. So, I mean, I'm not on TikTok at all. I'm just starting back on Instagram. Facebook and LinkedIn are my jam. Those are my 2 favorites. And so if I were to just be posting on a couple platforms, then I would be posting different types of posts. So the first post is an awareness post, making people problem aware. So aware of what the big problem is. You have a podcast and you don't know who you're even talking to, or pointing it out and being like, oh yeah, she's talking to me. So bringing out, making people, the right people, problem aware. It's also, I was going to say a double entendre, but that's not the right word. It also is for getting the most awareness in the algorithm. So what the algorithms are pushing out
kills 2 birds with one stone. That's kind of a weird expression, but yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll go with that one.
But so on Facebook, maybe it's a bold statement or an unpopular opinion. On LinkedIn, it could be a poll. Just what the algorithm is pushing out to strangers on the internet. So making more people aware of your content. So it works 2 ways. The second post is an elaboration post where you then show your thought leadership, you elaborate on the problem, and you take people, one step further from, hey, that you have a podcast and you don't know your why. Well, these are the 4 different types of podcasts that you can have. as a business owner and explain it in detail, and that could be a LinkedIn newsletter. On Facebook, it could be one of those thread style posts. On Instagram, it could be a carousel. So it's a variety of ways of pushing out thought leadership, longer form content. And the third post is a community post. How have you overcome this problem or helped a client overcome this problem? I could share the story.
Storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling. Exactly. It's 100% storytelling. And then the last post is the action post, asking people to leave social media to go one step further with you, to listen to your podcast, sign up to work with you, download the lead magnet, whatever it is that you figured out before you started posting that week. That's the action post.
That's the trick. And I know it's hard because sometimes I screw it. Most times I screw that part up too. I'm just like full steam ahead. I'm like, wait a second, where are we sending people this week? So yeah, that's the first most important part. But I do love, and I just want to reiterate so that everyone is listening, because I am equally bad as the rest of us and kind of getting too busy and letting things drop here and there. But you'll note in Katie's strategy that it's not every single day, listen to my podcast, check out my podcast. Oh, by the way, I have a podcast. I love my podcast. Do you want to love my, it's not every day kind of screaming from the top of your Facebook mountain down at people. It is almost a bridge, right? You're building a bridge in multiple posts that gets people from you and your podcast like back over from those social platforms, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's really smart because it's repeatable and it's easy enough to do. And with all the tools out there, you could even get some help from ChatGPT or Claude or whatever your favorite AI tool is. But it is a really nice way. And I will say the thought-provoking or like controversial posts, I'm a total sucker for that. Every time someone's like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a fun example, but there's like every time someone it takes like an opposite position to me and it's like a not religious or political, like a fun thing I can respond
Brussels
back
sprouts,
to.
yes or no?
I'm there, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm like, heck yeah, I love them. Here's how I would cook them. Like I'm all in on that. So I do think like there is a behavior, right? Like a behavior on social that people want to be able to respond back to that kind of stuff.
I mean, like we're while we're commenting, really we're saying, I want to be a part of your community. Really.
Yeah.
Whether, again, it's like, team roasted Brussels sprouts all the way, blah, 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 whatever. You're saying like, hey, I'm joining in on I like the community that you've built and I want to be a part of it by commenting on this post. And so I think that, it's a great way of really getting the right people to engage with your content. It helps you create better content. You don't need to post a ton. And like you said, I think a lot of people get tired of hearing, go listen to my podcast, go listen to my podcast, go listen to my podcast. And so if we want to listen to your podcast, guess what? We'd open up our phones or whatever and open up the podcast app. We wouldn't be opening up Instagram,
Yeah. You also don't need to say it. I'm living proof of this. I have just a for fun podcast and I have very low expectations. I'm literally doing it just to like hang out with my friends and my people. But I'm not applying hardly any strategies other than like things I feel in the moment for. But I will often post, it's a movie podcast, like my thoughts on like a particular movie or like, so here and there kind of sprinkled through my normal, photos of kids and my chickens and whatever else. And I am amazed at the amount of people who like when I am face to face with them, the people in my real world and my network who will now give me movie recommendations or like challenge things that I've said or say that they like went back and listened to a particular episode. And at no point have I said, like in the majority of my posts, go listen to my podcast. I don't even expect them to go and listen to my podcast because they're busy, but it's a reminder and they feel like they're part of that conversation. They're like, oh, I have an opinion on that and I want to let Katie know about that. And they will, whether it's in person or in the comments, they really will. It's amazing.
And that's, again, like you and I were last time we talked on the phone, I was like, hey, so have you seen Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie yet?
And it's now on my list.
See?
But you
probably had no idea that you're like, oh, I didn't know you even knew I had that show. So I think if the people, again, I follow you. I see the stuff you're doing. And there's a lot of, I was going to say creepers out there, but there's those too. But I was going to put my husband into that category. Good, yeah. I know. And so I was like, no, there's a lot of silent observers out there. And my husband is one of those where like I've had to tell him like, hey, when you see the picture of like me and the kids, can you just like that on Facebook? Because it helps me with the algorithm. I know you've seen it because I see you on Facebook. So I know you saw it. But I mean, there's a lot of people that are just scrolling and they're not engaging, but you're making an impact.
They're consuming it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. This is a great question coming in from Rich. Thanks so much for posting it, Rich. So Rich is asking about your 4-post strategy.
Yeah.
So he's asking, is it like daily? Is it one post every day? Is it one post a week? Like, what's the frequency for it?
The thing that's great about it is it's all up to you. You know, if you're, and I know I've dropped his name twice now, if you're Austin Armstrong and you want to post 22 times a day, you could still do this strategy in that 22 times a day thing. For me, I only post like 3 times a week, sometimes 4, but I still do the strategy. I still base the entire strategy on those 4 posts. It's 100% up to you what your capacity is. It comes down to just making sure that you know what the end goal is and getting people, the right people to raise their hand in time for that end goal. So it's choose your own adventure. It just use the strategy and then you can decide the frequency.
So I know a lot of people think about vanity metrics and kind of get distracted or maybe sad with with all the follower counts and
totally.
And likes and all of that stuff out there. What do they, what's the first mindset shift that they need to make in order to start focusing on relationships and some of these other more important metrics? What advice can you give them there?
Yeah, and I get it. It's it can be really hard to not look at the vanity metrics. That's exactly what they are like. And then you go to podcast. Katie, you and I were at Podcast Movement Evolutions earlier this year, and everyone was talking about download numbers and this. And I was like, honestly, we helped a client land a 5-figure sponsorship for their podcast, and they got 50 downloads an episode. That's not very many. However, the people that were listening to their show, if just one person signed up with that sponsor, it was, at least a 6-figure deal. So it all depends on who is listening, who is engaging, who are your followers. Because you can buy all that. It's really sad, but I mean, like, it's not expensive either. I mean, you can go online, buy followers, buy engagement, buy video views, and not pay a ton of money, but it's all people that are never going to buy from you. So why? Who are you creating the content for then? If it's a whole lot of nobodies, I unfortunately, Next Step Social is not going to be working with anyone in Africa. We're not. We only work with people in the United States and Canada. We don't even work with people in Australia because of the time zone stuff. So I mean, like, I don't really care if anyone, overseas follows me, because I know that we're not going to be really working with them. And that's the big goal for me on social media, is to find more business for Next Step Social, to find more clients.
I think that's super important. And I hope that everyone who is out there to do this professionally listens to that, because I do think that many of us are people pleasers and are so kind of focused on this concept of, we need to be reaching everyone. We need to have this huge, this huge following. We're chasing after some of these vanity metrics. And I think you're absolutely right. It is completely okay to say that, like, the goal of this podcast is to support my business, which is in North America. And so I am only going after people that are within North America. And the goal, as well as, giving them a good experience and listening and learning from my show, is to convert new clients. Like that is what's supporting this podcast. And that is the reason why I am doing that. And so I think it's okay to give ourselves permission for that. And if that's not like doing it for you, then maybe honestly, it's 2 different projects. Maybe you're like me and you do a passion project where it's like, this is my play space and my fun and my silly and my, like, I can learn from this space, but I don't plan on changing the world with it or making a ton of money, or like, that's just a play space. This is my workspace, and these goals are really different, because sometimes it can be distracting where you're just wanting to kind of gain all these new numbers, but you're right, they may not be actually valuable in the long term for you.
So we had a client that accidentally uploaded a video as a reel instead of as a story, which, it's fine. It happens. But the reel went viral and it had a couple million views. And he was like, what do I do with all these followers now? And I was like, okay, well, honestly, most of the people that are following you are between ages 13 and 17. You're looking to work with, people that want to start a franchise. I don't know if any of these people are your target. Again, it looks great. Like, okay, cool. He got some new followers from this funny video, and, but they're all 13 to 17-year-olds, and like, they're really not going to care about anything else that he posts about, and just because it was of this one mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really important to keep in mind. And again, kind of can get lost sometimes under all the sort of glamour and glitz of everything else that you're doing, where it's like, it feels really exciting every time someone, jumps in and joins your show or is part of, they liked it, right? Like, which is great. And you should be celebrating those kinds of moments, but that it may not necessarily be the right metrics to be tracking or the right metrics to be thinking about.
Well, it's
I was gonna
say real fast too. Like I think the imposter syndrome comes in a lot too with that. Like, oh, well, gosh, Katie's just posting about her crochet stuff, and she got 48 likes on that. Seriously? Like, this post took me over an hour to do, whatever. And it got 7. Seriously? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, how? That's not fair. And I get it. And the imposter syndrome can happen. You can see what other people are doing and be like, well, their launch or their show, they just launched their show and they're already getting 1,000 downloads an episode. Like, what the heck? Like, I'm trying really hard and I don't have 1,000 downloads an episode, whatever it is. I get it. And it makes it that's what social media and Mark Zuckerberg want from you is that so that you create more. The more you're creating, then the more time people are spending on their platform. And so, focus on your own journey, focus in on what your metrics are, what your why is. If it's to get 1 million followers, then you're going to have a very different strategy than the 4-post strategy. You are. But if you want more podcast listeners, if you want more leads, if you want to grow your business, then the 4-post strategy kills it.
Yeah, no, it really does. And I would challenge, like, what do you want the 1 million followers for?
Yeah.
is the question that you should be asking yourself. And again, these are questions we all ask ourselves, right? Because it is really easy to get into that space. All right, Luis, I closed down my chat box so that I would hopefully have added internet. So can you put up, I know that there was a question that came through, but I can't remember who it was from. So can you put up one of the most recent questions on screen so we can see it? I love technology.
Yeah. Well, and while Luis does that, I'm just going to say too, like, and social media could go away at any moment. We talked about this earlier with our good mutual friend, Billy Thorpe. He and I hosted a ton of Clubhouse rooms together back in the day. I had over 100,000 followers on Clubhouse. Who here is still on Clubhouse? Right?
Definitely not me.
But that's the thing. It's like, it could go away at any minute. And so the email list, the podcast list, all of that, like, own your audience. Because those 100,000 followers, it was really cool. Felt really good, pat on myself on the back, but I didn't even get a penny for each follower, So it really was just nothing else other than good job, Katie, for spending a ton of times on a never-ending conference call.
It's really true. And then I see Peter's question. Thank you for having it here. It is really true, though, that we're in a day and an age where everything is so public. Like, we can see everyone's numbers, right? It's like, I can see Katie over on Clubhouse and be like, oh my goodness, she's got 100,000 people that are following her and engaging with her content. And that, as you said, can absolutely cause imposter syndrome. What we are not seeing is the actual results and the money and the work, like all the kind of behind the scenes things. So it is weird. It's like, it's enough of a view to make you feel really horrible about yourself, but not enough of a view to actually know what's going on. And so it like, again, I just think it's a really good reminder for all of us that no matter how long you've been doing this, no matter how big, quote unquote, your show is, like we all have very different goals. We've all have very different experience levels and backgrounds. We're all coming at it from a different place. So really knowing, like, as we've been talking about this entire episode, like really knowing what you're trying to accomplish, and whether or not this is something that you're trying to make money at is really important, because you can't see any of that with anyone else, right? Like no one is going to be posting up those numbers, or if they are,
hey, I just launched a new product and no one bought it, or no one bought it. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, Chris, I think it was asking about your automation in social media. Do you set up any automations for answering comments and questions that come through in social? There we go. Peter Crass.
So I don't. There's a lot of tools out there. Stampede Social. I mean, like there's a lot of tools out there that help for responding to comments. Now, scheduling is something that I use. I use a number of schedulers. So the two schedulers that I like the most are Agorapulse and Metricool. I do have an affiliate link for both of them, but I don't recommend. I feel like after doing this for almost 20 years with social media, I've used just about all of them. Those are the two that I think have the best analytics. They have the best dashboards. Like you can respond to comments directly in those platforms. So I mean, for us at Next Step, like Jennifer, she doesn't have to go in and log in to every single client's account. She just goes into Agorapulse and she can respond to comments for clients. She can flag things for like, hey, you need to book a sales call with this person, blah, blah, blah. She can do all that in the scheduler. And there's also social listening. So if you have a show that people might be talking about, you can set up a social listening so that anytime someone says the name of your show or the name of your company, you can see it and respond to it. So like if it's in a Reddit forum, you can go in, and I know Alex Sanfilippo does this for Podmatch. Like, oh, people are talking about Podmatch on Reddit. I'm going to go in there as the founder and respond to these questions, and just so that they know that there's a real person that works here, and
Yeah, I should say, so +1 for Agorapulse, we use it at Ecamm as well. I actually, even for both my own stuff and for Ecamm stuff, I don't schedule posts out. I can't, for whatever reason, get it. Like I'm very much in the moment. Like I have a dedicated time and I want to be kind of there in the moment. Not never, but I rarely, if ever, schedule. But I definitely use Agorapulse endlessly for both social listening as well as for just having a central place where we can make sure we don't miss any of those comments, because they come in across every conceivable social platform and ads.
Yeah.
So it would just be really difficult for us to be able to make sure that we find all those comments, answer those questions, and again, be real people during a time of a lot of robots and AI out there. So
totally. I think and like I said, there's a number of automations and bots that you can use for, responding. But I think this is I think that when you have a real person go in and respond to things or be in the comments, it is a difference maker. People can see from a mile away when it's an automation.
Yeah. I will say the one automation that I do really like and we've been using more and more of is, so you mentioned Stampede Social. So they do a bunch of different things, but one of the things that they do that I have been playing with and really like is the ability so like we do a weekly newsletter at Ecamm. And so every Monday we post kind of like what's happening at Ecamm on a variety of different platforms. And I do like on Instagram, we'll use Stampede Social to say, comment, I think it's Ecamm newsletter.
But yes. So this is where
it DMs them like a personal, like, here's the link you asked for. And that kind of automation I really like, because it allows me to work around the complications of the platform. Like Instagram doesn't make link sharing easy at all. And this also connects the dots in a way that's really easy for people. And I am a consumer of that as well. Like when I'm out there and I see like a cool product on, in someone's Instagram feed and they're like, comment like cool chicken clothes and I'll send you the link. And I'm like, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm coming. commenting for the link. So that's one automation that I do actually really, really like.
Well,
That
and
is
that's one of the
automated but personal.
Yeah, and I think that that's a real important thing for people to keep in mind is when you do that, that's a different type of that's an action, right? That's your action post. You're asking people to take action and comment below, and then you're setting them over to the DMs where the magic happens.
Where the magic happens.
I mean,
absolutely.
How cool would it be to say like, oh, comment podcast, I'll send you the link. And then next week say, hey, did you enjoy last week's episode? Would you like this week's? Did you subscribe?
Yeah.
What'd you think of Katie? Was she annoying how she just kept like going and going and going and she wouldn't stop? Or did you really identify with her?
No more dogs.
I know, right? You can have an opportunity to have a two-way conversation with the listener. Yeah. How often
Which you rarely, if ever, get.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yes, Stampede Social for the automations into the DM for those action posts, I think is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, as usual, like an hour flies by. Were there any other things we missed? I know our topic today was thinking through using podcasts specifically for business and understanding your why and how you can really make sure that you're focused not only on just doing it, but doing it with results.
Yes.
Is there anything that we missed or anything you wanted to add in?
No, I think that you've talked about this before, Katie, but I mean, a lot of people think they need to do all these things. The most important thing, I think, for having a show, having a social media presence, having an email list, all the things is why. Like, what's in it for them? I love Donald Miller and the story brand framework with the hero's journey, all of that.
Yep.
And if you start thinking like that as a business owner, as a podcaster, whatever, it helps you create better content because, hey, this is what I want people to walk away with. This is what I want them to have. Do I want more sales out of it? Yeah. But I mean, like, really, why would they want to work with me? So what is,
why? Yeah.
And why comes back to everything that you do. And if you ask why am I posting this? And you don't know the answer, you don't need to post. That's your get out of jail free card. You don't need to post. Stop just posting because you quote unquote have to. Post because this is what the why is. This is why they should care.
That's our soundbite for the show right there. Stop posting because you quote unquote have to. Let's all just give ourselves like a big sigh of relief at that because sometimes the pressure does feel really real and the why gets lost in all of that kind of imposter syndrome and the pressure and the busyness of everything. So I think this was a great, super great reminder. Katie, more time with you. I hope you'll come back. I hope that we'll see you at a future creator camp and that you will continue to just be a sparkly presence. I know Ecamm is sponsoring a new show for you guys. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about Rocky Mountain marketing, but we also have marketing trends now and marketing strategy this week. And marketing strategy this week is a live show that you can watch over on YouTube. You can watch it in the Marketing Trends Now Facebook group. And we talk about me and my COO, Sean. We talk about what different strategies you can use in your marketing that will help you grow your business. So that's the live show that Ecamm is a great sponsor of. And then Marketing Trends Now is the 10-minute or less podcast version of it that comes out every Thursday.
Perfect. No excuses, because if you liked what Katie said here, this is like the next appropriate step is to at least get in and get the 10 minutes and then dive deeper if it's a topic that really resonates with you. But I think there's so much incredible content out there that is going to help make us all better at this and an amazing support system to help along the way. Like, it never ceases to amaze me that people like Katie are like, yeah, man, I'll come and talk to your audience and help them get better at all this. So we are in this together. And I hope that this episode has been helpful and this content has been helpful. And I really appreciate you taking the time, Katie. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, this show, if you like it, you can always find it over flow.ecam.com. Our episodes drop every Tuesday, and we are here Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern recording live. So you can listen to this one in its full edited glorious glory next Tuesday, October 14th. And you can always find it on YouTube and all of the other podcast players. It is hosted by our friends over at Captivate. This show, like every other, is brought to you by our friends at Shure. They help us sound awesome. They're also just like the most fun company to work with. We say this as an actual customer. I work really closely with Laura and Yuri. The whole Shure team has just made things so much easier. And they're great quality microphones. So it's awesome when it's a win-win. But if you're looking for a mic, Shure is where it's at, SHURE.com.
I have my own Shure mic too, right here. My Shure headphones. Yeah.
I know. You know what's amazing about all of it is we have guests on all the time, and almost never do they come on with anything other than a Shure microphone. So it works really, really well.
It's what 100
years of history.
I know. It's one of it. I mean, I've got two over here too for my clients to use whenever they come in. So yeah, I'm a big Shure fan.
I love it. Well, thank you to all the Flow Riders for hanging out with us. Thanks for putting up with my internet challenges. And we will see you on the next episode. Thanks, Katie. Flow Riders out. Bye, everyone.